Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
And good evening, travelers and those like. Welcome to the Orion Effect right here on the R.I.F.T Nation Network. We are streaming live, of course, off Restream, which puts you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and so much more. We thank you for being here. Tonight's show is sponsored by GOS, Ghosts of Stanton, Virginia. Check out the tours in the Shenandoah Valley throughout this season before the season ends. And Booze Paranormal equipment and more, the right equipment for the right price for the right person. Also to SNS Crystal and Crafts, we thank you all for sponsoring you. I'm the notorious hitman of the social media.
And I'm Rhonda. How are you all doing tonight?
Hello. I know our guests are already in the blue room waiting to come on, and we'll bring them on in just a minute. Wow. I made a crazy trip this weekend, Rhonda.
Well, I saw there was a wedding this weekend, right?
Well, there was a wedding. My niece did get married, and her father looked so debonair walking around. But I was not there. That's not where I was.
Where were you?
I was sneaking around like a little spider. I actually worked on Saturday, and as soon as I finished work, I went to Lynchburg. I spent the entire day in Lynchburg and hung out with Hill City Paranormal. What's up? And and Lost Souls. Lost Souls
Okay,
joined
yes, Emily and her husband.
Emily and Chris joined us on
Yeah.
Saturday. And we had some interesting things that I'm going to talk to our boys about tonight
Okay.
that took place.
Awesome.
And instead of going back to the house, I came home. I was like, you know what? 3 o'clock in the morning? I'll take another hour. Drove here and crashed out. Surprised her this morning. So it's been a good day, and careful. She may try to run out of here and tell a dad joke. Look out.
Uh-oh.
But hello, everybody. What a wonderful, wonderful weekend it's been as of yet. I will tell you this before we bring on our boys in just a second here. Cool. Thank you both, Renee and Keith. You guys rock. Once I get over this, then I'll hand it back over to Rhonda. Say the hellos. Our hit list is the same. So I'm just going to recognize all the travelers tonight. So let me tell you, I was traveling between Cobra in the house. I was traveling between one location to Lynchburg about 7 o'clock last night. And it's an hour position from there to Lynchburg. And as I was driving, I've been bitching all week. Okay. Anybody that knows, I have not seen the aurora. I was so upset. I was like, man, I'm the one that's spitting out on the info. I'm like, come on, you see it, see it, see it. I went out to the cabin on 360 Friday night to try to get pictures. Didn't get crap. Thursday night, I tried to get pictures. Didn't get crap. I gave up. Thank you, Sarah. So I'm driving for that position to Lynchburg last night, and I glanced over across the hills, looking over at the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I'll be damned. Saw the aurora just right over the mountains, and I'm like, of course it would happen. No camera, nothing. But I think it was meant that way. There's something to be said for what I'm telling you. Sometimes what you need to see is not for everybody else.
Right. I would agree.
I was about to say, what's your thoughts on that? Hey, Raven, thank you for joining us. Welcome. We have a new traveler, Miss Raven. She is good friends with our Susan and JR. And we want to wish her a welcoming, warm welcome to the show. Thank you for joining.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, to answer your question, I totally think things happen for people when they're meant to happen. And sometimes it's what you need to see and not what everybody needs to see.
Agreed. I totally agree with that. I'm going to bring up the overlay so everybody can see, because I don't have all the equipment here, so I can't go. I'm going to respond and throw it up there. I will, as I can. I will put our new traveler up there so she can be seen.
Awesome.
And her response. Oh. And Rhonda, if you would, while I'm doing this and get it set, let's say hello to our travelers.
Hello, Susan Swanbeck. And Monica and Sarah and Renee and Cindy and Keith and Raven and Renee and I missed somebody. Nando. Hello. Yeah. Robert White. Hello.
Welcome. Oh, look, we got friends from all over the world returning. We got our Australian brother down under. And we've got another new traveler.
Yeah.
Nando, thank you for joining us. Wow, we've got a lot of new travelers, and we want to thank y'all for being here. And with that, look, T's in the house.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? And thank you for joining. So before we get started, there is something I have to do another mad shout out about. I want to say hello to all of our travelers in Australia, in England, in Thailand. We have new travelers in Thailand.
All right.
Recognizing our new travelers in Brazil and other locations down in South America. So thank you all. Thank you so much. And if we have not acknowledged your country or you, jump up, drop your bomb. Let's hear from you. Where are you turning into from? So while we're doing that, again, we will return the hit list next week. I didn't have the notebook, and there's so many wonderful people who join us every week. I can't think enough, and so many great groups. We have to recognize the groups, and we got to say thank you mad props to Laura and Dave and Carrie Lynn and Michelle and Amelia and Joe, all of them over there at the United Paranormal Network, UPRN. Thank y'all so much. Your
We
support.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Also to all those, Nick and everybody over at the Things Network, thank you so much for your support. Those at the Vibe Network, thank you so much. And Haunted History and Lore, I think that's how she has it. Christina, mad props to her too. So I want to make sure we get those out. At least we get those out.
Yes.
So before we jump in here, what you got going on this weekend? What happened with you?
This weekend, I worked all weekend. Nothing exciting. With vacation comes sometimes extra work, and hurricanes cause extra work, and all that good stuff. So
I understand that.
I worked most of the day yesterday.
Well, this weekend, on my side, we'll talk a little bit more about my adventure with our brother and sister Courtney and Sean, and with new friends Emily and Chris. But right now, we are going to bring on our special guest tonight. We are excited to bring back. Oh, they went 2 and 2. All right, cool. To bring back on the show and returning, if you will, our boys from Shadows Abound, Chris Timmons and Greg in the house. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello.
We do have a special guest. Gentlemen, would you like to introduce your new boy? Uh-oh. We can't hear y'all.
Uh-oh, Mike.
There we go.
There we go.
Nope.
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, cool.
We can't hear them.
Yeah, I can't hear them.
So
looks like they're leaving and coming back.
That's all right. So introduce yourself, sir, while we wait for them to come in.
My name's David Dole. I'm basically new to Shadows Abound.
How long have you been with them, Dave?
Been a couple of months right now.
Okay.
I've gone on about, say, 2, maybe 3 adventures with them.
Okay.
Very
so what's
cool.
it like? Yeah. What's it like working with them while we wait for them to come back in, if we can get it back up?
So far, the first time that I went with them it was at a cemetery. We were walking around just getting a personal experience and everything, see how me and another person fit into there, and that's when I found out that I had an ability. And after digging in deep with my family, my mom's side has a line of abilities to where they would see angels, ghosts, spirits, apparitions, all that stuff. So kind of explains why I started getting into it.
Okay. Wow. And it's something about Chris and Greg that they can draw this out of people. It's a really good technique they have. Really great guys, and hopefully we can get them back on. If not, Dave, you're our victim. That's right. So, is this your first team that you've been on? And everybody, please welcome him to Shadows Abound.
Yes, this is actually the first time that I've actually been on a podcast, for one, and 2, been part of a paranormal investigation team.
Now, have you done investigations on your own? Like, have you done publics or anything before you joined them?
Honestly, I haven't, because I haven't realized that I could get the investigation tools up from Amazon like I did. But there are times where I'm not really doing the investigation. I'm actually just sitting at a graveyard, or I'm at another place, and I just have that chill down the spine and having a feeling like I'm being watched. So I've had experiences, but I never did dive deep into them.
I hear them in the background.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay. Now we can hear you, but now we can't see you. There
we
we
go.
go.
There we go.
We got it all.
Fixed the audio, but then screwed up the video. Okay.
That's okay. You know what? It was good. I think it happened that way because we got to meet and talk to Dave while y'all were doing that. This is actually really awesome. I enjoyed. This is really great.
Yeah, he did good. We were listening.
I was about to say, so guys, bring in Dave on. What's it like now expanding out a little bit? Terry!
It's pretty nice having an extra member on board. Sometimes with just Chris and I going into big properties, it's a lot to take on by just, two people. And we have a couple of people that we're going to be having in and out, hopefully. But Dave is the first extra full-time person coming in. And, he was talking about his gifts and stuff like that he found. And we thought that was pretty cool, him discovering that in our adventure that we had with him. So I'm glad he's opening up spiritually and discovering new stuff about himself. And, we were happy to be the people to kind of be there for him with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of like him and I clicked really quickly. We work at the same workplace together at Kroger.
Okay.
But him and I became like brothers right away. And then I know his wife from school back in the day. So that was kind of the easy connection. We were always talking about what we're into in the paranormal and some of the phenomenon we're obsessed with that we'll look into. And some of our interests were the same as far as how we do research together. So I was like, hey, Greg, what do you think about David? Do you think you want to try him out? Maybe we can add him. And then, boom, things just clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know him previously until Chris. So kind of randomly met him through Chris, and like he just said, everything. And we chit-chatted a little bit and tried him out, and he did pretty good. So we tried him out again, and then we tried him out again, and we're like, all right, he's solid. So
Yeah, you got to put him to the test, right?
Yeah. we tried him out at a couple different places. So it was Hollywood, Midlothian, and then was it somewhere else? The cabin.
Yeah, the cabin.
Went to the cabin. Finally.
Oh, he got to experience the cabin, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the third one, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like out of the three, the two hardest were probably Hollywood Cemetery and the cabin. So he stood his ground, was solid, so. So,
Dave, what was it like for you on these three locations? Let's get your point of view. Let's hear it.
I'll admit the first area, the Hollywood Cemetery, hit a lot of emotions there, especially where, the dog statue and the baby is, because I'll admit I've lost a child before he was stillborn, and right now I'm actually sitting in my newborn's room. When she comes, she'll be here hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, these newborn daddies. Look at y'all.
But before all of that, I had broken down. I felt a lot of things. We had done a spirit box around there, and right behind me, I felt like something was behind me. I stuck my hand out, and my hand just went ice cold.
Okay.
At the coal mines, it was a little bit different. I mean, I'll admit, I think if y'all remember, I kind of zoned out, and it looked like I was doing something.
Yeah, kind of trance, I would say. You're using your gifts and went into a trance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently it does happen here and there. I don't even, I have no way of, being able to control it.
Right.
It just happens. Just like with my gift, basically I can see, images, faces, anything and everything that will come into my mind. And half of the times I don't even know that I'm doing it when I'm drawing it. And I've drawn out a couple of things while at the cemetery. I haven't really done it at the coal mines because nothing ever really came to my mind. It's just the feeling of, all right, there's something up over here, there's something up over there. And just that kind of feeling, or even what happened, I went into the trance. Now at the cabin, a lot of emotions. I definitely would love to go back there because there's just so much ground to cover there. But within what was the room? What was the house next to it?
Oh, the ranch.
Murder house.
Yeah, a lot of emotions hit there, and there was one room which is, I guess, the brother's room. I could not go into. I didn't even want to go near it.
Yeah, to the right of the bathroom in the middle there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard that before from other people too. I've actually had a little issues there myself, so I get you.
I can definitely say there was an experience that I had at the cabin in that room he's talking about that hasn't happened to me before.
Mhm.
Which, we still have to go back and edit everything. We're a little behind on stuff, but I think I have it on camera. I don't know, but I was actually the camera guy, and it was happening to me. But there was a chair in the corner for some reason, and I don't know why. I just, hey, let me sit down. We didn't even start our investigation yet, and we were just kind of being shown around the place, And I sat down in the chair, and I'm kind of filming, and I can't remember exactly what happened to David. But something either scratched you, hit you, something like that. I don't remember what it was. But I had this feeling that took over me, and I just smirked with this grin, like something was seeing through me,
Right.
and it was making me happy that he got hurt.
Ooh.
And I told him before I went in the house, I said, because stuff does jump into me, jumps through me, stuff like that. And I said, if anything happens, just watch out for me.
Yeah.
And within the first 3 minutes of being in there, that happened. So he got hit, kind of fell down, was, like, hey, something hit me. And I just started smiling. And I told him, I said, hey, something is happy that just happened, and it's like in me. And they looked over, and they could probably tell you what they saw, but from what I remember, it was this tall, dark figure that was just shrouding me all the way up to almost to the ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my buddy instantly became Sarah. Somehow her gift and my gift almost aligned, where we were seeing stuff together and confirming what was happening. For her and I, it was kind of like we both watched. It was the chair that he sat in was perfectly up against the corner where his back sat in the corner of the room. And there was a window here and a window here. And it was purposely like turning his shadow right in the corner. It like morphed and came out of his shadow. It was like the 12-foot tall, like a hat
man or whatever.
Like a hat man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. And then for me, I had my first experience where we first got in there. Ryan was kind of showing us the murder house and what happens in so many rooms. For some reason, I walked off camera and just went into the girl's room that got murdered. Went to her room right away, and it was almost like I was communing with her. I felt like I was her big brother. Got really teary-eyed. Started to talk to her. It's almost like she was communicating with me. I had like a 20-minute conversation while they were off talking to Ryan. So I want to say it might have wound up on one of our digital recorders, but I didn't get it on camera, which sucks. So, but it was.
There's a little confirmation with that because Rhonda did at FPRI. Y'all were there one weekend, and didn't Tyler Darnell get a manipulation in the basement as well? That's very similar.
Yeah. He was. We were in the basement, and he was. I think he was doing an SD session, if I remember correctly, but he was kind of sat near a laser grid that was up, and he just started talking about, I'm suddenly angry. And if you know Tyler that's not his personality. He's like, I'm angry. I don't know why I'm angry. Something's wrong. I just don't feel right. I just want to thrash stuff. Like he was just not feeling himself. And we saw some images later that it looked like something had superimposed on his face from some pictures.
Wow.
Taken.
I mean,
that's why I wanted to bring that up. I mean, I think there's a lot, and this is something I have said in the past that needs to be done, and not just this location, but in all locations. A community book should be at all locations, documenting every situation like this. Every team that goes in, I feel that they should be documenting their experience to share with other teams, to give the evidence to the location, and so other teams can use that as evidence review after the fact. Of course, not daring. We don't want any teams led, but yeah, body jumpers. But also they can take these in other locations and go compare location and experiences. Just a thought.
I mean, I will say that night while we were there, we captured a lot, and a lot of stuff that happened off camera we didn't get to capture. But that place felt very active that night in an overcrowded situation. Most times you go to a place and it's like, hey, this happened within the walls or the area, whatever. And so you expect it, you go there, you see it, you feel something, whatever. But I mean, it was like one building went into one building and then the outside area went into this building. And it was just like, you just see stuff just go back and forth. And, we were down in the basement trying to talk to the principality that's down there. And it was like, he would just leave and then he would just come back. And then he would just leave and then he'd come back. And then other stuff would come in while he was gone. And I mean, even from what I saw in the spirit was whatever I was sitting in and had that feeling of, I didn't go back in that room. I couldn't do it. But Sarah, speaking of her, her wife had showed up. And right when her wife had showed up and was walking to the door, I looked over to the hallway back to where that room was. And that figure, I don't think it likes her wife, because it literally just floated from one room to the room across the hallway. And I didn't see him again the rest of the night.
Okay.
And so I looked over and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, there he is. There he goes. And so after I saw that, I said, I don't like that room. I don't like the room now that he just went into, because he just went in there.
Yeah.
I'm staying out of those two rooms, because I've never had that feeling of something, being in me or whatever that felt happy with disaster.
Took pleasure in chaos. Yeah.
I've never, and with a lot of stuff going on personally in my life, I said I don't need to have that. That's something that I don't need to be around or be a part of, So I don't know. There was a lot, and I can't wait till we go through the stuff to find out what else.
Yeah, I mean, other than my experience with the young girl that died there, my other best one would probably be what we're experiencing at the end, like the last 20 minutes in the way back in the woods. David had actually bought a grid pen and just kind of held it to the center of the woods, and we kind of stood off to the side, and we were actually at one point watching 3 or 4 different things moving back and forth in the midst of the dots.
Right.
And I think we got that on we have a different version of a GoPro camera that kind of has built-in night vision. So I think we caught that too.
Nice.
Yeah,
I want to bring this up. Robert White from Australia said, at least being an investigator. Well, let me bring that back up. Hold on. That just followed me. Let's see. You are used to being awake late at night. Newborns will keep you up. I mean, that's a valid point. I go back to when my child was younger, and I would have to agree with that. Rebecca's in the house. Acknowledging Rebecca. What's up, girl? I'm from Virginia. They are good. I'm impressed by what I have heard on their techniques and impacts. There you go. Chris jumps in. Hey, Chris, welcome to the show. She said, I keep seeing spirits in one particular room, too. Oh, there you are. She says, more often than the rest of the house anyway. Makes perfect sense. And then our newbie, Kristen, jumps in. She says, hi, everybody. How's everyone? And welcome to the show, Kristen. Hello, hello, hello. So this weekend, something happened. If you guys, travelers and those don't know Chris and Greg, please go back to the original, the first airing of Shadows Abound. You can get their background and see the show. That way we're not overlapping. We want to carry on. That's what this show's about. Because one of the things we want to do is see progress and experience. And especially with Dave in the picture now, we get to experience new things. Now, you guys and Rhonda, reel me in if I go too far. But you guys, it's been a while. I will let you know. I was at our other cemetery, wink, wink, last night with our other friends, and we had some really unusual things to take place that did not happen to you guys. So I wanted to share a little bit about that cemetery, our experiences, wink, wink, and that way we can kidnap Rhonda one weekend and take her from FPRI and take her with ASPS for one week.
You can do that because I've been there before. So yeah. So
Wow, we're gonna get you in there with us.
Right.
Dave, don't worry. You're gonna like this 2.5 hour drive. So
I'll be all right.
all right. So guys, let's jump into that because one of the things that was asked that we did not really get into the last show was equipment. You know, what is some of your favorite pieces of equipment? How do you go about it? What are some of your favorite theories you like to apply when you're doing your research and investigations?
I'll let you go first if you want.
Okay. Well, I mean, first off, I like to use my body as most of my equipment. About 70% of the time, I like to use my goosebumps as a compass. And then as far as methods, I'm kind of obsessed with the Estes method. I like applying that. I like doing solos with it or group version of it, shortening your time on how you use it or lengthening the time with it. I don't know. Like I said in the last time, since I was 6 or 7, I've always been into looking up the phenomenon, and I'm always trying to find different dots to attach one phenomenon to the other.
Yeah.
Research methods, I either I'm solely in a book and obsessing over it for 2 weeks, making small notes and notepads, or I'll obsess over something and just search it on YouTube and Google for like a month straight, and then switch to the next, try to look up shows that might reference that phenomenon, that kind of thing. As far as like tech, I'm simple, like give me a small, like the little GoPro style camera we have. I like that. It has built-in night vision. I hate flashlights. You can ask Greg.
Yeah.
I can see great at nighttime in pitch black, but you flash that flashlight near me, I go blind for like 10 minutes. And then laser pointers, laser grids. I'd love to buy those. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I have a cheap dowsing rod set, and I haven't really got into using it. I need to use it more. I actually brought it with us when we went to the other cemetery with you. I need to get used to using that more, I think.
Yeah, we need to bring you and get those rods out.
Now, I will say, him talking about flashlights and how much he hates them, him saying that he does own the brightest freaking on earth. And he's talking about blinding people. He's the one that likes to blind people for fun. So,
Mag light of doom of his.
anytime I use a flashlight, I don't care about his bitching because I'm like, dude, you just blinded me 55 times already. I will say for me, I showed it a second ago, the camera he keeps talking about, I randomly found it on, I think it was either on Amazon or through Amazon. It's a very cheap gadget, but it's called a Bob Loft security cam. It's just like this.
Okay.
But it's meant for like, police or whatever. But this sucker sometimes outbeats the Canon that we use, which is like a $1,500 camera versus this little $150 piece. What I love about it,
house?
Hill City.
hey, what I love about it is, it's got a perfect base to it that's flat. So in some of our videos, you can see that I popped it up with window seals before and just let it sit up there like a security camera. And we caught great footage, like him getting attacked by a bat. That was kind of hilarious. That's on our YouTube.
Always hilarious.
Yeah, craziness.
There's other times where we were filming literally both cameras next to each other, and this caught voices that the other one didn't. And you can carry it on your person too and walk around with it. But also the spirit box that we have, we use that quite a bit. And I think that works pretty well. We've got a lot of evidence out of it. And I think that we probably will continue to bring that with us everywhere we go. I don't really like the EMF detectors. I don't know why. He doesn't like light. I don't like sound. And that thing, when it just goes off, it might be my ADHD. I don't know, but I just want to take it and fling it,
Yeah.
spend $200 on it, but I don't care if it crashes against the tree, you know?
Yeah, I think we've only used it 3 times because of the noise, and we have yet to figure out how to adjust the volume on the noise itself.
Oh, well, let me take a look at it.
Price, you would want to like be able to adjust the noise, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Next time I'm with you guys, I'll take a look at it for you.
Yeah.
There should be a way to definitely mute it, if anything.
Okay.
Rebecca goes, where were they? Torpedo Factory in Old Town, Virginia? No, they were talking about the cabin on 360 in Mechanicsville Turnpike, Rebecca, when we were having that discussion.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, screw those dolls that Ryan put in there.
Yeah, that just changes the ambiance, makes you assume something bad's going to happen.
It does.
I
agree.
I have a fear of dolls because my grandmother, my dad's mom, she used to have old school like glass cabinetry, and she had hundreds of them. And you know, you'd be hanging out with her or whatever, and sitting on the couch, and a little kid, you know, that I look up, and there's just dozens of eyes staring back at me, you know, and I'm like, I don't like it. And when I started getting my kids, a young kid, I would hear things coming from them and seeing things, and you know, like that was the room she hung out in. I've never liked them ever since then.
I'm the same way. I was the same way with clowns. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. My sister is afraid of clowns, so y'all share that.
Hey, that's okay. You know what? I got over it thanks to like the Woods of Terror and a couple other of those event locations. These people were really great about walking with me, and I was in my 40s and I was still freaking out. But you know, mad props to all, since it is Halloween season, of course. Mad props to all of the horror locations they're out and about, and thank y'all. You know, you're doing a great job. We continue doing that. Absolutely. Sean, when you were younger, did you have any like situations that brought into your adulthood that you know you can lean on now? Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. You said
Sean.
Dave,
Oh, I did. Oh, good Lord. I'm sorry, Dave. I was thinking Sean Elliott was on, and I'm like, just override.
I think we're all waiting for him to type, Sean to type something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, me?
I was looking at the chat like.
I was like, what are you
Next
talking
thing
about?
Sean goes, Sean here.
These things happen. My bad. Dave.
Yes, sir.
Anything in your past from your childhood that you've brought into the adulthood that you've learned how to face? And have these guys helped you with it?
So within my past, I definitely have had like weird experiences and all. At my first house that I basically grew up in, we had like a hurricane, knocked out all the power and whatnot. So it was like still like thundering, lightning, all that. I'm asleep in my room, and I was having a nightmare, and I can't even remember the nightmare. But all of a sudden, I hear my grandfather's voice, and I felt a hand pull me. And when I woke up, I'm looking around like, okay, what happened?
Yeah.
The next day, I took a look at my shoulder, and there's his handprint on my shoulder.
Oh,
Very
wow.
cool.
Like it was like a red handprint on my shoulder, but I knew that it was his. Couple of experiences while my grandmother was still alive. My grandmother liked to collect dolls as well. Her entire house was filled of them, from small, big to the
What is
queen.
it with older women and dolls,
I
man?
don't know.
Like she can go to a yard sale and she can find like an expensive doll for like $5.
Yeah.
But after my grandfather had passed, she kind of needed someone to stay with her for like thunderstorms and all that. So I would stay with her. I'm in the living room, and she has a doll that's known as the grandfather doll. It basically resembles both of them.
Okay.
And at night, it's like, say, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, because I barely sleep when I'm there, thanks to friggin' dolls. But out of the corner of my eye from the kitchen, because she has like a long hallway that goes to her room. Out of the corner of my eye, I see what looked like that grandfather doll, but it was just plain shadow. And when I kind of stood up, there was no feet. It was my grandfather's height, and it walked right on back into the back room.
Okay. Maybe there's imprinting going on. And this is something else. I mean, we're finding a lot of weird stuff in the paranormal right now. Stuff that we thought or we were miscued about. Let's talk about the hand. And then I want to get to what Sean just stated. The handprint on you. We always take that as a negative thing. It's always come as a negative condescending situation. I don't know where that came from. That was pretty cool. But, we always think about that. We don't ever think that, well, we are starting to change our thoughts. That certain things in the paranormal are a positive where we deem them a negative. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah. Usually they show duality at the same time. Yeah.
Right. And I think we're really finding that. I know that's the case with you guys being on the other side of the situation or part of the larger mother group, if you will. We'll leave it like that for now. That we've all experienced a little bit of that. Rhonda, I think you've even said something about what at one point in your life that something might have seemed negative, but it actually turned out to be a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we look at things as negative. I mean, the Ouija board experience that you and I had as teenagers, I wouldn't have touched one with a 10-foot pole. But now that I've, been in the field and worked with some mentors that I truly trust, it's a tool. You just need to know how to properly use said tool. And if you don't, you shouldn't be messing with it. Dave, I do want to say to you, don't be surprised now that your gifts are opening and you're becoming more in tune if you don't start remembering other things from your childhood that you have not thought about in years. Because I know I did. When people asked me, and I was like, oh gosh, I started remembering things and conversations with my mother of things that I was doing as a child that like all of a sudden it's like, oh, now all this stuff makes sense.
Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
So there is one experience that I have remembered because me and Chris had actually talked about this. It was basically me and him were like looking up things down from where I'm from. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. Okay. So there's a graveyard that my grandparents are buried at along with other family members. And I remembered that there's a way that I would go through our neighborhood park when I used to live up over there. And I go through the swamp and through these gates into the cemetery. And me and a couple of friends, we were wanting to be stupid. We go into the cemetery at night because we just either snuck out or something like that. And they all ran away while I'm sitting there trying to figure out the lady in white. There's a little story about her within that cemetery. She's actually a nurse, but we're not sure of the era, either World War I or World War II. But it's a little thing where people are saying that she's the lady in white nurse looking for her patients.
Okay.
And within that area that she walks around are some unknown soldier tombstones and some actual soldier tombstones from Vietnam, World War I, World War II. And I would love to actually be able to go down there and investigate that area one day.
Very cool. Yeah, I think, well, you know what? You're with the right pair of guys. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one.
Okay.
Let's move into this real quick because we got about 15 minutes left in the show. I don't know. Maybe we need to start thinking about this time thing, Rhonda. But Sean drops in from Hill City Paranormal Props. What? All right. Says still haven't seen the mist at Old City since you guys investigated there.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because something happened last night, and this is a question I'm going to have for you guys and Rhonda too, and then I'm going to get y'all's point of view, and then I'll tell you the situation. I've never encountered this before, only at this location, because now I'm starting to think only certain things happen at certain locations. All right. How many times, or have y'all experienced missing paranormal evidence? One. Two, and if you only experience one type of evidence at one location and nowhere else?
As far as missing evidence, do you mean by like you're filming and then all of a sudden that film's gone?
Yep, filming, pictures, video,
happened-
EVPs.
It happened one time, vaguely that I can remember. We were on a house call. This was before David joined, but Chris and I were at a friend's house, or his girlfriend's place, and she was having a very demonic situation happening, very malevolent spirit that I don't want to put her stuff out, but
Right.
was kind of tethered to her, and it was almost like she was okay with it being there, but also was scared shitless that she had it.
Yeah.
So it was very hard to like rip away the situation. But anyway, I had left the camera downstairs and it filmed for about 40 minutes. And while it was filming, I had the audio running and it muted the entire footage. So I got no audio from it downstairs. And also it started pulsating at certain parts.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen that happen before on the camera.
Yeah.
So that was kind of,
and it almost seemed like it
weird to me.
We caught on video that it was correlating with her cat. Whenever it would lose audio or try to come back, or the flashing would come back, the cat would lie and then leave and then come back again.
Well, she had a cat that would sit downstairs, and while it was filming, it was almost hard to see because it was like pulsating so bad. But you could see the cat kind of like looking up at stuff as it went by.
Yeah.
So that was kind of creepy. But I mean, that was also the first time ever that while we were talking about stuff, I mean, it felt like it was 3 feet in front of my face that I've, with my own ears, hear a very dark demonic growl come right at me. Like it was just angry that we were there trying to help out, that we were in the presence of her and everything else. And I mean, it was a very deep guttural growl. Came out of thin air 3 feet from my face right at us. And everybody just kind of stopped. It was like, did you hear that? Yep, I heard that. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, don't need any equipment with that.
Or like we would be asking deep dive questions before actually recording, and somewhere else off into the apartment, you'd hear something happen. And then we would want to go after what was going on and figure out what it was. So on your question with if we've gone to the same locations or different locations and we get the same thing, I would say all of the house calls we've done, whether they've been recorded or not recorded, or when we did as kids when we were in a crazy church, we'll talk about that another time. I would say there's one same phenomenon that happens. It's usually always the person has an attachment or something causing the thing to happen, or there is a loss, and that loss is causing the sort of energy that it's feeding off of for that to happen. And it's that's the complete opposite from when we've been on places to record at, like when we've got the permission to record at either of the cemeteries we've been to. Those are completely different. Or we've been to a historic place and we're there at nighttime recording, and then that's a complete different thing. So
yeah, I would say another thing too, which I don't want to sound boastful about it, but speaking of Hill City, a lot of places we go to, people will be like, I didn't see shit, but we show up, it's like stuff just happens around us, and it's like Sean's talking about the mist, and I mean, the whole entire time we were up there, we were getting stuff left and right. And everybody else was like, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. Nothing happened with me, blah, 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 blah. And then we go to the next area and we picked up a bunch of stuff. Nobody heard anything. We go to the next area, we pick up a bunch of stuff. But we tried different techniques as we went that we in the spirit felt like it was telling us to try, or, hey, this might work or whatever.
Oh, good point. Yes.
It did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, it's like that little voice in the back of your head, sometimes I feel like there's, whether it's God or a spiritual guide or just whatever, that's saying, hey, do this. And so you try it and stuff happens.
Yeah.
And, it's weird, but everywhere we go, and you've witnessed it with us, we were at Hollywood or whatever, we'd say, hey, something over there. And oh shit, yeah, something over there. Or I'd say, hey, film the flare up there, something there. Oh, hey, there's something on the flare. I don't know. It's just, it happens. It's like we're a magnet or something. I don't know.
That's a good point, because we actually had that discussion last night about just that, what you're referring to. Sean and I and Courtney, Emily and Chris, mad props to Lost Souls. Okay. Met them last night. Is a lot of times we sit there and we want to recognize the idea of the situation. And sometimes maybe depending on location, if you're familiar with the location, you know how we're always wanting the spirits to do tricks for us? Well, maybe we need to start doing a little give back and listen to them and let them go, do a jump, do a dance, do a jig, do it for them. Let them get that experience to us. Yeah.
Have a forced interaction.
Yes.
Like, I'm doing this. What would you do, Fred? Do you have anything to reply with?
I'll point something else out. So we were at the cabin, right? And I don't know if we got this on film. I think it was when we were still we went to the woods first before we went anywhere else. And in the spirit, what I saw was basically we went way back in the woods, and it looked like a bunch of entities kind of just slowly walking back and forth. Like if you went to New York's, the Times Square or whatever, and you see a bunch of people kind of walking back and forth. It wasn't as dense, but it was like a lot of people just kind of slowly going back and forth. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just my own stupidity. But I took a pine cone and I said, watch this. And I literally kicked the pine cone like 30 feet into where everybody was walking into each other. And as soon as that pine cone hit, they literally stopped in their tracks. They all turned and they all faced me. It was like
energy, maybe?
It was like they knew that I knew that they were there. And like right when I did that, they were like, they all just faced us.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the energy in the area just all changed.
I want to say that was the same spot that I was talking about with David's grid pointer.
Okay.
The grid time for a good 10, 15 minutes. You could constantly see 3 or 4 points in the center and one to the right on the top, constantly move like left to right. So.
Gotcha. Want to acknowledge Mama D's in the house. Hello. So this is the situation, you guys. Let me give you it. Y'all saw what happened when the mother group was there in the chapel that night. With the green
chapel.
Yes, the chapel. The green laser. Okay. It happened again last night, but I was not using the laser grid in there. I was using the new laser tripwire.
Okay.
We had it up for maybe 10 minutes and boom, gone completely. We had a lot of good responses in the chapel, but not like we had that night. So the 5 of us moved, or actually Jay came in. Props to Jay Brooks. The man with the plan who runs the stand. 6 of us moved from there. We went down to the Confederate location of the cemetery. Wink, wink. I'm not saying it unless I'm allowed to. They had some good stuff going on. Jay left, and we moved into the museum. I've been in there. All right.
Was Bob there?
No, Bob was in the chapel.
Oh, that's unusual.
It's Courtney. I don't know. So we're sitting there. We're setting up. We've got 4 laser grids all around. cat balls, the whole nine. Hold on, let me read what Sean put here. Tripwire did get set off. Oh, that's true, and I apologize. Thank you, Sean. The tripwire did work. Clearly worked. Clearly worked. So now I've got to figure out how to juice it up a little bit more. All right. Anyway, let me continue on this. We're in there. We're in the museum. And my first green laser grid starts to fade out. Courting's asked questions. It'll go in and go out. Go in and go out. I'm like, okay. I couldn't figure it out because their grid was crossing mine, so I couldn't see it after my peripheral was looking out of the way. Finally, my green completely shut down. Dead as a door now. Everybody's like, well, we got it again. I'm like, no way. So I walked over, stood in front of everybody, and clicked it. Held it the whole nine. I was like, well, it's dead. I set it down on my equipment. Moved the red to the green location. About 10 minutes later, same shit. This is just my stuff. It just kind of, boom, stopped working. After that, Chris's green started blinking. So I'm like, it's playing with us. It is going to be playing with us. I've never, in the amount of years I've been doing this, ever seen anything like this. We thought maybe we can get questions. No, it was a simple, steady click, click, click. And we said, Chris, does your equipment, has it ever done this before? Have you ever? I have never seen this before, and it's never happened. All right, cool. All right, hold on. We're packing up. We're getting everything together, putting my stuff in. I grab my green one. I push the button. Bitch comes on bright as day. Bright as day. And I like, well, that's interesting. And Sean's like, no. And I'm like, look at it. I look at the ceiling. Next thing he goes, try the red one, because if the red one goes on, I'm done. I'm just done. I set it down, grab the red one, click up, bright as day.
Yeah.
Bright as day.
Did y'all try to use it when it was in and out as like a yes, no?
That was the green one. The green one was doing that. The red one was like.
But I mean, when it was blinking, did you try to use ask them to use that as answers to yes or no while it was blinking, like blink yes, blink no,
yes,
that kind of thing? Okay.
With Chris's, we did when we saw the pattern, and I was actually looking for patterns, as you guys know. I was looking for a pattern. Maybe they're not all non-intelligent and they understand. Okay. Morse code. No, it was not Morse code. But it was a steady, and it was not responding to the questions. And Courtney was getting so frustrated. She was so tired. She put her head down. I'm like, okay, all right. So at the end of the night, both of them were lit up, fully charged. What do you guys think? Dave, I know this is new to you, but welcome to the club.
I mean, actually, something like that did happen at the cabin, because I had it fully charged when we went into the woods, and it was like after 20, 30 minutes, it started dimming on me.
Oh, yeah, your flashlight.
When I got into the truck,
I
tried it again, and bright.
So he's got a really nice like USB-C chargeable flashlight. So okay. I witnessed that happen. He had actually set it on when you're in the cabin, you're on the second story, and you have that fireplace. Yeah. He put it on the left side of the mantle of the fireplace. And then we were like trying to film our own little thing in that room there. And it happened. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that room that's an unusual room.
If we ever get back to that area, there were things that I want to try with that church. So I don't know if I told you that night when we were all out there, but sitting in the back, I know we were all tired, and then we got there as our last spot. But sitting there in the pew, looking out the window, in the spirit, I just see things moseyingly going down the grass and the hill. So as y'all were talking about Bob, I looked over and I'm like, there's like 40 of them out there. And getting to the church, I just remember seeing a lot of things. It's like dead corpses just walking into the wall but couldn't go in.
And the shadow play that was running from us.
Yes. And I kind of want to go back and not be in the church, but
Yeah.
play around outside the church.
I think we got that.
Leave some voice recorders outside, something like that. Be inside the church, maybe try and see if we can get any kind of gargling messages, angry, whatever, and try and play with how they can't come in, see what we get out of that, or try a different method. But I feel like we probably would get a lot of stuff from that as an experiment.
And there you go. Hill City said, would love to do an experimental with Shadows Abound there. There it
I would
is.
like to hear that too. I would like y'all to do that, because the sense, and I told Courtney this, the sense I got in the chapel, and I don't know if it was in the chapel or just right there, I kept getting like it was a meeting location of something that was very negative, like fire,
Yes.
brimstone, and like whoever was talking was like very
You know why?
negative. So I'd
You know
be
why?
interested to see what y'all got outside.
Yeah.
I can tell you why. I don't know if you want to know why, but Jay told us everything last night.
Well, then, so that makes sense, because I mean, it was like fire and brimstone. You're going to hell, blah 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 blah. And I was like, I just see this person.
We can give you
so
confirmation of that.
I mean, my experience, Ed had myself and then Greg after me come up at the pulpit to kind of read a crazy version of like the Bible I have never read in my life. Instantly looking down at the pages, I was like, I don't know what I'm reading here. But as I tried to look down, I tried to find like focus words. Like I tried to find the page that was the reference for Psalms. And I tried to find a Psalms I had memorized as a kid. So I found Psalms 10. As I started to try to read it, I was like seeing fire, almost like someone's throwing Molotov cocktails at me. And then I heard a gentleman like yelling. And
Yes.
that was hard for me to concentrate. So
Yes. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Crazy.
I just remember it was late, when we were at the church, and
yeah,
there was it's funny story. I was talking about Chris. So while you were doing your part of the experiment, and you had called Chris and I out, it was like we were back at church as kids.
Yeah,
because I hear, and I look over, he's dead asleep. And he should go, hey, Greg and Chris, come up here. And I said, hey, man, he's calling us. So I feel like if we do that as our first portion, maybe try out some of our methods, I think we can get something. We also, I think, what was the building that was locked? It was wasn't the museum. It was the doctor's house.
Station?
The pest house.
Pest house. That was what it was. Yeah. No, the train station, we actually tried something that no one else tried, and we got a lot.
Yeah.
It was me, you, and I think Andrew.
Yeah.
And
whoops, sorry.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
We'll hold that story when we're allowed then.
It was good.
Yes.
When we're done with everything, then we'll allow that to go out. Not to be rude.
Apologies.
Well, cycle back to your question, Howie, about like the equipment acting one way and another. I have noticed recently that spirits are trying to use the equipment the way they feel like they can understand and use the equipment. Maybe not where we think the equipment should work.
Absolutely. That's why K2, I'm not a big fan of the K2, but at least I know they manipulate it.
Yeah.
It's not about the energy. It's about the manipulation of the item. We have to remember that I will say. Guys, we're at the top of the hour. Woo. Dave, welcome to the club, man. Hopefully you stick around.
He got indoctrinated quickly tonight.
That's right. That's right.
I see what Sean wrote. He said he wants to do something with us. I'm definitely down.
Yeah, I'm down.
Besides, Sean, you're okay for not acknowledging me. I know I'm your favorite. It's okay. I know.
I was gonna say, Rhonda, we still need to meet you in person.
I know.
Right?
Yes.
So maybe we can do an FPRI ASPS or FPRI Shadows Abound thing.
I'm sure, because John's down to go anywhere, anytime.
And there's some people are going, what is the difference between Shadows Abound and ASPS? It's a secret. No, it's just how we roll about that. The members of ASPS belong to other groups, and they have their own groups. We do not force them to use that banner unless it's on an ASPS event. We support everybody in our team and our families. That's why it's still independent. It's independent personalities, and that's what I wanted to stress this go around. What are you giggling about?
Sean, he says, as long as you know, Rhonda. I know, Sean. I know.
Okay. So, travelers and those alike, please check out Shadows Abound on YouTube. Check them out on Facebook. Guys, where can they find you before we end this magnificent show?
You can find us on Facebook. We have a group. We don't have a page on there, but we have a group. YouTube. We are actually, as an announcement, we're in the works of getting a professional website done. So we are kind of taking a hiatus, however you say the word, from investigating at the moment to get all of our social media stuff created, all of our website stuff done. And of course, we have backlogs of editing to do. But our website is being worked on right now. It's about halfway done.
We're going to attach that to a Discord too.
Yeah, we have a Discord that's in the works and some other stuff too. So we really
Social
want
dig in the house.
Yeah,
What is up, G-Boy?
we really want to power through and have everything created and together at one time. So we're working on all that. And with David's addition, that's going to help with that as well. So
I think the progression of Shadows Abound, I think with you guys working with other teams and working with inside the family, I see a lot of great stuff. Dave, I look forward to meeting you. Welcome to the family, by the way. It's going to be fun. This would be a great adventure when you get to meet everybody and the bigger family. I want to say on a personal note that if there was a group of guys, if there were two guys that I would want in my corner, and I'm blessed to have them in my corner, it would be Chris and Greg.
Yeah, absolutely.
The entire team has changed. The dynamic has changed because of them. And I cannot thank you guys enough for coming into the family and being a part of what we're doing. And if y'all need help in the central Richmond, Virginia area, reach out to Shadows Abound. They've got a great support team.
Yes.
They know they got back. So
we appreciate you saying that.
Thank you, Ed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And travelers and those alike, thank you so much for tuning in to our little show here, the Orion Effect, live off Restream, off the R.I.F.T Nation Network. And until next time we see you on the other side of the mountain. That's right. You tell them. That's right. We got another special Sunday coming next Sunday. It's actually going to be an hour and a half long. We have a special event. You want to tune in 30 minutes prior to the show so you get a little bit of adventure from GOS, Ghost of Stanton. Get a little fireside story before we bring on Michelle DeRush. That's right. He knows. It's like, that's right, baby.
He's saying in English, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So we want to thank everybody that's tuned in. We want to thank all of our new family members from around the world. Thank you for being here. All of our new and old travelers alike. We're doing this together. Let's continue to do it. Continue to help each other. Just be good people. Be good to each other. And maybe we can spread this positiveness out because Lord knows we need it. And may first be yours.
Be good to each other and be good humans.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hear, hear.
Good night, travelers.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.